welcome back to my channel. Sorry if you hear a little bit of snoring. Nixon is right down there sleeping. Oh, let's see if I can get the camera. Anyways, I'm just going to do a real quick video today, and we're just going to jump right into it. This is kind of my first, true crime video. I was going to do a different case, but I think I'll do that tomorrow, because it's a little bit longer, and it's a lot more dark, so I figured for my first true crime video, I should kind of just dip my toes in the water before jumping into something too crazy, or dark, I guess, but this is definitely crazy, so let's jump right into it. Today we are going to cover the unsolved and bizarre case of Gloria Ramirez. So I got all this info from a Buzzfeed Unsolved video that I'll link down below. Gloria Ramirez was a 31-year-old woman who had been diagnosed in dealing with stage 4 ovarian cancer. On February 19, 1994, Gloria was rushed by ambulance to Riverside General Hospital in Riverside, California. First thing that was found was that Gloria's heart was beating way too fast for her body, just abnormally fast. Sorry, I'm out of frame. While they were trying to defibrillate her heart, medical staff noticed this oily sheen covering her whole entire body. Her mouth had a very harsh, fruity, yet garlicky, yet really strong chemically smelling smell coming from it. Smelling smell, yeah. A nurse named Susan Kane began to draw blood from Gloria when she noticed the blood had a strong chemical odor as well. And she also noticed that there was this creamish-colored particles floating in Gloria's blood. Shortly after drawing the blood, the nurse Kane actually fainted. This started a strange domino effect with other medical staff. Another emergency department nurse started complaining of lightheadedness and began visibly shaking and then also fainted. She also experienced apnea, which is when someone stops breathing for a matter of minutes or seconds, or stops breathing for moments at a time. Then yet another nurse began to feel ill, screamed, and passed out too. So something was going on. Gloria was making people sick. It was crazy. Some other staff reported feeling sick, so the hospital declared an internal emergency and evacuated everybody into the parking lot. So skeptics do wonder, though, why they didn't just move Gloria into the parking lot. Why move everybody out there rather than just moving the patient who's making everybody sick out there? So that's one thing to think about. At 8:50 p.m., almost 12 hours after she arrived, Ramirez was sadly pronounced dead. Her body was removed and moved into an isolation room. A nurse who helped move the body said she was feeling a burning sensation in her head and began vomiting. She was also hospitalized for days. One of the nurses who first had symptoms after, when all this happened, actually was put into the ICU, suffering from a range of horrible symptoms, including avascular neurosis, which is a disorder where bone tissue doesn't get enough blood. She had to use crutches for months after being released from the hospital, so this really messed her up. All staff who had been affected by Ramirez were taken out and treated in the parking lot. Their clothes were taken off of them and put into bags, so they were completely quarantined out in this parking lot. In the end, Ramirez's body affected 23 of the 37 emergency room staff that were working that night. 5 were hospitalized. Seriously hospitalized. At 11 p.m., a hazmat team in full hazmat suits began searching the scene where all this happened. They searched the hospital for 2 different toxic chemicals that could possibly be a cause, but absolutely none of these chemicals were found. 6 days later, an autopsy was done on Gloria by the Riverside Coroner's Office. Coroners examined her while wearing airtight hazmat suits, as well as doing it inside an airtight isolation room. They tested samples of blood, tissue, and even the air that was inside the body bag, but nothing conclusive at all came up from the autopsy, and it completely just baffled everybody. They could not understand what the heck was going on. This case quickly gained media attention, so I'm sure you can find reports of it and everything online. Medical detectives from different local, county, and state forensic departments began investigating this whole entire case. Another autopsy was done on the body. Again, nothing conclusive found, and Gloria was finally buried 2 months later after she passed away. So her body went through a lot after she passed. and then finally she was put to rest. Her death was officially ruled cardiac dysrhythmia caused by kidney failure due to her cervical cancer, and the case was completely closed after this, leaving the strange incident and all this illness and everything a complete mystery. However, there are many, many theories, so I'm going to go over a few. One is that the California Department of Health came up with, and they claim this is the conclusive answer, and that it was just a widespread cause of mass hysteria, which we've heard of this before in some of my videos. They were pretty much saying that all 27 medical workers that night had just completely made it up in their heads that it wasn't real. They said this was because there had been no chemicals found in Gloria's body, and also because the people that were working in the ambulance who brought her to the hospital experienced no symptoms at all. Most cases of mass hysteria have some kind of like environmental trigger that makes them happen. They think maybe the strange odor that was coming from Gloria could have been the trigger to spark all this mass hysteria. But I just find it hard to believe that 27 people would completely be making this up. And a lot of these people completely deny those claims. After the California Health Department came up with this conclusion, like I said, the nurse who was in the ICU and the most affected filed a lawsuit for $6 million against the county coroner's office and the hospital, claiming she was completely sure that it was not mass hysteria. Some other victims also spoke out against this claim. The other theory came from Livermore Laboratory, who found strangely large amounts of a compound called dimethylsulfone in Gloria's autopsy samples. Although dimethylsulfone is harmless, if the compound gets broken down, so this is some sciencey stuff that I don't understand, maybe you guys can. If it gets broken down, which possibly could have happened by the electrical shock from the defibrillators, it can become dimethyl sulfate, which can cause damage to the heart, paralysis, delirium, fainting, and convulsions, which are all the symptoms that everybody had. But many top scientists came out saying this was absolutely impossible. The laboratory never gave actual proof of their theory, and they didn't make any like simulated test of it. Where was I? Even the head of the lab himself said, "We never said that this was solid proof of what happened. Just said that people should look into it." So, again, just a theory. Yet in 1994, the coroner's office released a statement saying that this whole thing with the dimethylsulfone was the most likely cause. So, I think they were just ready to, like, get a cause on this, you know what I mean? The next theory is brought up by the Ramirez's family themselves, Gloria's family. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink. Talking so fast. They believe that this was all caused by the hazardous conditions that were already present at the Riverside Hospital. So, in 1991, 2 of the hospital employees were hospitalized after an exposure to a poisonous gas inside the hospital. In 1993, sewer gas was actually found in the emergency room. So, they had some issues. So, you know, it wasn't like the Ramirez family was just kind of making this up. There was some actual proof that this stuff happened. The family believes that it was actually a cover-up done by the county itself. Again, this is all alleged. Just a theory. I'm just saying what they say. At first, the deputy coroner had stated that Gloria had not died of natural causes. Yet, after the county revealed their official autopsy report, the deputy actually changed his statement and said that she did die of natural causes. Kind of weird. One other weird occurrence is the lead investigator from the coroner's office, who was first on the case, a woman named Stephanie Albright, actually committed suicide only 1 month into the investigation. The deputy himself was even reported saying that due to the case, Albright might have been extremely under pressure. So people aren't sure what that means, but you never know. Also, strangely enough, the syringe that was used to draw Gloria's blood had accidentally been thrown out. So you think this is something that they would have kept to like look at what those particles were or figure it out. But yeah, someone said they accidentally threw it out and they couldn't find it anymore. So Gloria's family did end up filing a malpractice and wrongful death lawsuit against Riverside County. So, like I said though, this case to this day is still unsolved. It's still some crazy medical mystery. But yeah, it's just crazy. Sorry I talked so fast, but what do you guys think? Like, I found this so interesting. I just had to make a video on it. Do you think that Gloria was like poisoned, or maybe this is like she had some superhuman abilities or something? Do you think maybe it was a medical mystery, or do you think maybe it was just mass hysteria? Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And if you did like this kind of true crime, unsolved kind of case, give me a thumbs up and let me know. Like I said, my next true crime video I think I'll be uploading tomorrow is a lot darker. So it will be triggering, just to warn you. If that things about abuse and stuff like that get to you, you might want to wait until my next video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, it was just crazy, and I thought it'd be interesting to you guys too. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.